Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Stock, and in this video we're talking crypto. I've been on a tear recently, getting myself really read up on the literature behind cryptocurrencies and really to get more of a feel on the direction that it's headed and really try and catch some traction on, just how much of the sell-off that we saw, how much we're going to recover from that. I was bullish on it, feeling that it was going to recover. I think that we're going to have other shakeouts here and there, times when we're going to have those crashes, and those, when they wipe out the smaller coins or the smaller currencies or tokens, whatever it is that you want to call them, those are things that I think that we can expect to see from time to time. That's not totally what I want to share with you today. I want to talk more about the big money, what's in the background that's really going to be the support and the main drivers behind what we see, and really making the case that what we're seeing right now in the crypto space is temporary for us. And I really think that we start to see signs when we look for maybe more clear winners for who's going to come out of this. And when I say winners, I don't mean that the other currencies would go away. I just mean that we're going to see other coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum as a platform, Cardano, Polygon being a side chain to Ethereum. These are all things that I think are really going to, I think that a lot of them have their place. And I think that there are a lot of spaces that people aren't even considering for cryptos yet in general that I think will really be positive things as we go forward. So I got a lot to share with you. I want to try and keep this video right around the 10-minute mark. I tend to talk a lot. My fiance tells me sometimes it's just stop talking so much and get to the point. So let's do that. Let's get ready to rock. Welcome back. For those of you who are interested, down in the description is a link to my Patreon. If you go down and click that link, head over to my Patreon, you'll get access to my growth portfolio, my dividend portfolio, my weekly newsletter, my weekly watch list of stocks, also access to my private Discord where we talk stocks throughout the week. I'm really excited about the community and really looking forward to expanding, especially as the summertime hits and I'm able to really kick things up into high gear here moving forward. I think that we're going to see a lot of rapid growth. Pretty excited about it, and I also put out Patreon exclusive videos, and that's an area of content that I'm going to be building onto as this channel matures and as it develops, and as I see further support from you as patrons or as people who would just like to come over and watch the videos, say hi in the comments. And also, another way besides Patreon, link down in the description, there's also a link in the description for WEBULL. Another way to support the channel is that you can click the referral link there, sign up and deposit $100 into WEBULL for opening that new account. You get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,850. I get 2 free stocks for the referral. That's just another way that you can support the channel where you purely benefit and I also benefit, and the world's just a better place because we all get some free, easy money from there. So one last thing, if you wouldn't mind, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, share it with your friends, help me grow the support base that we have here. And the more support I see, the more time that I can dedicate to this and really bring you quality content more and more every day. All right, on to the crypto stuff. Dr. Stock Crypto Talk, I guess. All right, so I picked through a couple different articles. I believe that a lot of them came out today when we look at these, and I want to try and keep it somewhat relevant and somewhat recent. We know that there's been a lot of institutional buying with cryptos, and here Carl Icahn at 1.5 talks about or hints at a $1.5 billion investment in cryptocurrencies. So back in 2018, he looked at the cryptocurrency market and he's like, maybe I'm too old, it's not for me. And now 2021 rolls around and it's not just a bunch of people who are really speculating on the future of cryptocurrency. We're starting to see businesses put investment towards it. We're starting to see hedge funds start to put exposure in. We're seeing articles come out about how cryptocurrency should take a part in your overall portfolio, about 10% of your total portfolio. So for me, even though I was early on in the cryptocurrencies, I did step out for a long time, and I probably waited too long to rotate back into it. But now it's a time where it's like a re-education and a big ramp up again, and I think that there's an astounding amount of stuff to find. So here's another headline. Just pay attention to that right there. Whales bought $3 billion of Bitcoin when the prices fell. So this is something that I think it's a good headline, and I think it really showcases that even though retail investors may have had that fear, uncertainty, and doubt, when that price when the rug got pulled out from under our feet in the crypto space, if you were able to convince yourself that that was the time to lean in, I hope you did, and I hope you bought. I started entering positions into the crypto space when I saw that take place, and I didn't have as much on the side for that ready to go, but I dusted off some old accounts, got them fired up, and I was able to catch on to some of that when it came around. And I look forward to other buying opportunities where we have those drops. And in the meantime, when it's not dropping, I plan on dollar cost averaging over time across different cryptocurrencies that I think really stand a chance. And right now, Bitcoin, I think that Bitcoin has a bright future ahead of it, and I think that Ethereum also has a bright future ahead of it as well, and I think that it really hasn't hit its massive inflection point yet for growth for Ethereum. I think 2.0, when we really see how it's performing and if it lives up to the promise that it has right now, then we're going to see really awesome things for Ethereum in the future. If you want to, this is at theblockcrypto.com, and again, the title up here if you want to go back in time and take a look at that, and you can see Bitcoin's price dropped down to 30,000, and well, a whole ton of people bought into it. And so that's sort of the essence of what this one says. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but you can give it a read, see what you think of it. They offer some graphs and everything. This is something else that I thought was pretty cool. So this one came out late last night. I'm on the East Coast in the United States, so for me, I was already in bed by the time this thing came out. But it says about signs cropping up that Apple's exploring crypto, and this is just more evidence about crypto's future, that it's something that's here to stay. And regardless if we have that day of reckoning where the small currencies end up being washed out, and then we have some major leaders emerge from that, or even if just we never get the washout really, and just the money just floods into the predominant leaders, the ones that we see are really have a clear and bright future ahead of them. This is just another company that there's speculation about putting together more work into the cryptocurrency space. So for this one, let me scroll up here. Asset management giant Fidelity files for a Bitcoin ETF. They're not the first ones, and this isn't news. This is just, again, making that case. If Bitcoin was done, if it was over, like this whole fear, uncertainty, and doubt thing, and we're saying about it sitting at 40 grand, these ETFs that are being proposed to the SEC, the SEC is reviewing them. What does it say here? It says the sixth of its kind. That I think at least 5 of them are under review by the SEC right now, and we're waiting for them to go through. There's a 45-day window from the time that they file with the SEC until they either have to be approved or disapproved or put under further review. And I started assembling a calendar. I don't quite have it ready yet, but we have a few dates, I believe, in May, a few dates in June, and a few dates in July coming from the SEC. And I have sources that I'm also putting with it, with the actual filings with the SEC and their rulings. And you can look that kind of stuff up on the SEC's website. And even if you come to, again, this is the Block Crypto, you can come here and you can click on these and you can get a hold of those filings through these sources, and you can look for the dates that they put out. A decision, I believe, has to be made by 240 days from the initial date of filing. So at about 30 days per month, that's 8 months time until that goes through. So they started in like March, so we should know by like November or December of this year whether or not at the latest that we see any of these that are currently filed and under review by the SEC, we can expect to have some sort of decision come out of that. And for those of us who are bullish on crypto, this would be just a huge leap forward. It'll really, in my mind, it'll amp up those Bitcoin ETFs that they're currently putting out there. All right, so for this one, this gets into a little bit more technical talk. And again, I said that I would keep this short, and I hope that my camera battery doesn't die in the meantime. If it does, I'm going to have to swap that out. In any case, what you want to know from this is that Uniswap with the Ethereum scaling solution, this is a side chain that would run off of the Ethereum platform, and it would run alongside it. And what it does is it makes the transaction cost cheaper for the Ethereum whenever that happens, and also by running as a side chain and sort of bundling the transactions together. That's another way that we optimize the system. So it makes it cheaper, it makes it faster, and we're just waiting to see on a vote from this to take place. Polygon is another example of a side chain that takes the transactions and kind of runs them alongside the Ethereum platform, and then does the confirmation sort of in a bundle and in a group, and then by doing so, and those of you who know more about this technically than I do, feel free in the comments to educate me, and that saves me a little bit of hunting and reading time, even though I am really super interested in finding out more about Ethereum, because to me it's the future coin. And I don't know if there is one called the future coin, but it's the one that I think is really going to the platform that is really going to set the world on fire in the crypto space. And I have one of my reasons coming up on that. So this is just another case that we have here, and there you can see they talk about the side chains that they're running. So something else that Ethereum has going for it is sharding, sharding, and basically that's about confirming transactions, and instead of having them confirmed around all the hubs around the world in order to do that confirmation for the transaction, now it can be done in shards and pieces, where the jobs would be sent to the transaction confirmations would be sent to individual shards around the globe, and then they would do the confirmation, the transacting, before sending it back to the main chain. And so that's something that's going to allow those processing speeds in order to the transaction speeds to scale up considerably, is that instead of having it more of a linear approach where there's sort of a queue waiting for those transactions to take place, now they can happen in parallel, so that they're happening simultaneously, and that should, along with these side chains, be something that really speeds up Ethereum, especially when we get to proof of stake with Ethereum 2.0. So I looked up the cryptocurrency transaction speeds just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here, trying to keep it simple. So when you look at Ripple or XRP, 1,500 transactions per second with an average ledger sentiment of about 3 to 5 seconds. And then you have EOS down here, 2,800 transactions per second with an average confirmation time of about half a second. So that's not bad at all. And now Ethereum gets mentioned, and if you check it out, 20 transactions per second with an average confirmation time of 5 minutes. It kind of sluggish, kind of slow, and right now they're in proof of work, and so it takes a whole ton of power in order to do that. But when they switch to proof of stake, I think it's like 1/10,000th the power of what it takes for proof of stake versus proof of work. And then when you look at Ethereum Classic, you can see 2 weeks to confirm about 80,000 transactions. But then they start talking about Ethereum 2.0, and it says about shard chains, due to which it can conduct up to 10,000 transactions per second. So really putting it out in the lead across the others. And this number is actually, I've seen up to 100,000 transactions per second already boasted for Ethereum 2.0. So we'll see what comes out of it and what number we sort of settle on as that goes on. And I think Ethereum 2.0 is a 2022 or 2023 when the rollout for Ethereum 2.0 completes. I know that it happens in stages, and I think it's a 5-stage process, but that's something that I'd have to look back at my research to see what it says. And then just two more, they mentioned NEO, 1,000 transactions per second, average confirmation time 15 seconds. And then Bitcoin, I'm sure gets mentioned here because of its popularity, and I really think that it helped the page ranking just by having this on here. So it says if we talk about the Bitcoin network, the average confirmation time, 10 minutes. So not bad compared to some of the others, although we want that to be a whole lot faster. And it can process a maximum of up to 7 transactions per second. So going back up to Ethereum, this is the one when we get to Ethereum 2.0. If we get that 10,000 to 100,000 transactions, especially if we get to the 100,000 transactions per second, we're really talking about the speed of global commerce when we really start to be able to scale that. And also with those side chains, if they're still able to make those transactions cheaper, that it takes less ether in order to do that, we really just start to win out overall with Ethereum in my mind. All right, so just a quick look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. And when you look at this, Right now we're looking at the daily chart here. I'll switch to weekly real quick so we can see a little bit more the drop-off that we've had in the past 2 weeks, and now we're in the third week from there, and we dropped just for a brief moment under 30,000. So this is probably stuff that you've seen a lot of, and we touched the support that was over here, and now we're sort of floating in this weird in-between land. If we go to the dailies, drilling down a little bit to see a little bit more maybe of the hidden support and resistance that we would see at these lower time frames, you can see a little bit more that we have this top out right around the 40 to 41,000. Looks like about 41,000-ish price, and we're seeing a little bit of sideways movement on the daily chart. And just a little bit more telling, if we look at the relative strength index on this on the daily chart, you can see we sort of tiptoed in the bearish and oversold area for the momentum for this. We are starting to climb out of there, and what we want to see for the RSI, even as we come out of this bearish period, we want to see that the lows get higher, we want to see the highs get higher. A little bit like we're reading the candle chart, if we break over 50, we start to get more into the bullish territory. This short-term volatility, I think, is going to end, and I think that right now institutions are trying to scramble to get those positions, or maybe we'll see another sell-off, in which case then they'll jump in again and take an even bigger dip out of that. All right, here we're looking at Ethereum, and something to mention when we look at this, since I have the RSI up here, the momentum is different here for Ethereum. The momentum was building as the price was building, and that's definitely something that you want to see. And then we had that huge sell-off take place. I think that we're going to return to that momentum sooner for Ethereum. As a matter of fact, if you look at this little formation that we have, and not that this is the best setup for the formation, but with the previous momentum that we had, getting through this sell-off, if we get through this sort of cold, uncertain time that we have, we could really start to see this thing form into like a small flag pattern for us, where we could see another boost where we kick up over that 3,000 mark and hang out there for a while. Right now, it looks like we keep stalling out around $2,800 or $2,800, right around those parts. Ethereum, like I said, in my mind, the more I read about it, the more I get excited about it, and I'm going to look at some of the other ones that I think really demand my attention. XRP, Cardano, Dogecoin is one that I mined a while back, and I mean, that one has nostalgia's sake to it, and I think that it's also part of a social movement that will keep some momentum going on that from time to time, that we're going to see big spots where it pops and it surprises us, as different events happen throughout the world. Social events, I think, would be one of those big drivers that we would have there. If we look at the momentum that Bitcoin had, check out the RSI on this one. So we see these highs falling, where we see the highs here rising. That's bearish divergence. I mentioned that before in one of my previous videos, and it kept continuing right into the sell-off. So I think that we'll see some of the strength come back. I just think that for a while we had a better setup for Ethereum than we did for Bitcoin, but now that this momentum sort of died off, it allows us that sort of cool period that if it stays like in the slightly bearish to neutral territory where it trades sideways for a while, I think we're going to see good things for Bitcoin coming up in the future. So let me summarize. Cryptocurrencies, the whole crypto market, I think that it is at its infancy, that we're just starting to see an entire market form, a brand new area. If we look at the global exchanges that we have, with typical fiat currencies being the thing that is being used to trade for the different shares, the companies, and the different commodities that are out there, all that stuff took years of development. And as this new market emerges, these cryptocurrencies that we have, I think we're not even at the 15-year mark for them, as a matter of fact, being something that's really recognized, or being recognized broadly, not only by visionaries, but also by institutions and retirement agencies and hedge funds, and they're trying to get ETFs going. Like, this is the ramp-up period. This is the time where we're going to see a lot of things that are going to cause us to doubt ourselves, but all of that stuff that's happening in the background is like making up this really nice meshed foundation that's actually going to cause us to have a cushion, if you will, something that's going to keep the popularity there, and something that is really moving along with business And I think that's something important that gives it some staying power, where we don't see the same sell-offs that we saw before. We might see higher highs come out over time and big sell-offs to follow, but we shouldn't return back to the same lows that we had. So let's say Bitcoin went up to 100,000 by the end of 2021. Well, I highly expect that at some point in time, some big negative news will come out and it drops back down to 50,000. We see a huge rush of institutional buying to prop it right back up. And I think that that sort of pattern can just keep on continuing, and that's just an example. I don't know that it will happen, and I don't even suspect that. I don't know what even would cause that to happen. You know, we have any number of events. Elon Musk makes another tweet. Who knows? So onto Ethereum. Again, I think that as a platform, a crypto platform, it's there to stay. I think that there's a lot of progress and development, and there's just a huge network of people that are working on it. And also, the programming language is moving to more of a standardized language, and that's more stuff that I have to read about so that I can talk about it in a more informed manner. But being able to have even more developers work on it than people that would have to learn an entirely new language in order to work with it, that's something that I think will be really huge for spurring forth not only the developments with the Ethereum platform, but then also the offerings that are based off of the Ethereum platform as well. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. I really appreciate it. And these videos that I make, I really do like what's going on in the crypto market right now. I think that actually has some serious staying power that we have. And the exchange that I currently use, I like to use Coinbase. For those of you who are wondering, it's also a stock that I own, and they have gone out in the last month and a half or so, and they are a publicly traded company. So if you want to check them out too, I think they have a lot of growth potential ahead of them, and I better wrap this thing up. Down in the description is the link to the Patreon if you want to check that out. You can help support the channel that way, and you can talk to me personally that way, and we can kick around different ideas and share our research with one another. It really is a good time. Also, down in the description is that link to WEBULL. Sign up, deposit your $100, get your 2 free stocks, and thanks for my 2 free stocks as well. Last thing, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and share with your friends. Remember, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research and due diligence. Contact a financial advisor before making any financial decisions. I'm Dr. Stock. Thanks for rocking with me. Now go get that money.